Hello, sports fans, and welcome to Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Saturday edition. And also, we're going to talk about the Cavs as well. Uh, and uh, and they did win last night, 114 to 98, and Jared Allen had a stellar night. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the what's going on today. We'll talk about the Browns and tomorrow's games. But first, here's today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. We're going to talk some Cavs. We're doing NBA one. Which player is the highest single season free throw percentage? Which player has the highest single season free throw percentage in team history? I'll have the answer later in the podcast. Well, the Cavs beat the Washington Wizards in game two to take the two-game set. They won 114 to 98 last night. Jared Allen had a stellar night last night, uh, as you know, and it was here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Uh, and and it was at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse last night. It was there. And and I'm gonna just tell you right now, Donovan Mitchell scored 26 points. Jared Allen had a sixth straight double digit, and the Cavaliers rolled to their second easy win in 3 nights over Washington, beating the Wizards 114 to 90. Excuse me. The Cavs had a little tougher time against the Wizards than in the 140 to 101 blowout on Wednesday, when Cleveland reached a season high in points, rebounds, assists, and 3-point percentage. Mitchell made sure there was no slip up, scoring 12 points in the third quarter to help the Cavs pull away. Uh, and we handled our business, Mitchell said. We just played a steady basketball throughout. The biggest thing in taking care of these games and continuing to move forward as expected of us. And that's what we expect of them. And that's what they did. They really put forth the effort last night and got the win. Allen finished with 12 points, 12 rebounds in his last 6 games. Cleveland center, who has been getting far more offensive touches than earlier in the season, is averaging 19.6 points, 15.6 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. And I am hard pressed to find a big guy who was playing better than Jared Allen. Like Cavs coach JB Bickerstaff said, we all need to take a serious look at his all-star associates, because I don't know how many big guys, if any, that are playing better. Karis LeVert had a season high 10 assists, and Georges Niang added 14 points for Cleveland. Tyrus Jones had 16 points to lead the Wizards, who came in allowing an NBA worst 126.6 points. Cavs improved to 7-3 without point guard Darius Garland, who has a broken jaw, and forward Evan Mobley left knee surgery, who are both expected to be out for another month. The Cavs had to figure out a way to play without two of their best players, who combined to average over 36 points per game. There's been an added emphasis on ball movement and cutting, and to this point, the results have been impressive. Uh, I don't think it's the numbers people were expecting. That's the honest truth. And Allen said of Cleveland's record without Garland and Mobley, excuse me, you see two All Stars going down, and you think, oh, things could spiral out of control. But we held our own, and we are still a team capable of great things. Of course, it always helps to play an inferior opponent, and the Wizards just aren't very competitive. Washington had a season low in points, while falling to 6 and 28 overall, and 3 and 17 on the road. Wizards coach Wes Unseld Jr. was hoping for a stronger performance in all facets from his squad, but which got another embarrassed Wednesday, which got embarrassed Wednesday, excuse me, by being out rebounded 62-36, a disparity that would have made his late father a Hall of Famer cringe. Washington played tougher. The Cavs outbounded them, rebounded them, excuse me, 50. 52-31, was still within striking distance midway through the third when Dean Wade and Mitchell hit consecutive three-pointers to push Cleveland's lead to 25. The Cavs outscored the Wizards 32-19 in the third. I felt we took more pride in what we are trying to do across the board. Unsold said it was much better defensively, uh, particularly in the first half. I thought we were really good. Mitchell made his first four shots and had three assists as the Cavs opened a 14 point lead in the first quarter, threatening to make it another runaway. However, the Wizards slowed them down with a 11-0 run and were within 12 at halftime. It was another all-around effort in a string of them for the Cavs. It was one tough 15, Mitchell said. It's not just one person. When you guys got when you got guys that know uh, the game, moving the ball around, being able to execute it makes it life easier. Uh, and and well, and up next, the Wizards host the New York Knicks on Saturday next week. And the Cavs host San Antonio and rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama on Sunday tomorrow at 1 p.m. So this was one game the Cavs just were slowed in. They didn't score as high as they did in the 141-101 win. And so this was a game which really the Cavs really came away with a win in both. They take both games from the Wizards. So and so I got to tell, and right now we're going to talk a little bit of Browns. Uh, uh, as the NFL regular season wraps up this week, the Browns wrap up their regular season as they take on the Cincinnati Bengals at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. Now the Browns are coming off a big 37-20 win over the New York Jets last week that helped them clinch the number 5 top seed in the AFC wildcard playoffs. Baltimore did win last week, so they're already in, so they will not win the AFC North. Now the big question uh, is one of the big questions is, are the Browns going to rest Joe Flacco and some of their other starters? And their answer is yes. Kevin Stefanski announced on Wednesday that he'll rest Joe Flacco Sunday against the Bengals and start newcomer Jeff Driscoll in his place. Now, he said he'll rest other starters and give young players a chance to shine in a game that has no playoff implications. The 11-5 Browns have wrapped up the number 5 seed in the AFC and will face the winner of the AFC South in the wild card round, which will be either the Jaguars, Colts, or Texans on the road. Jeff's a guy with the system knowledge from Arizona. It's helpful to get out there. It's helpful to get out there, excuse me, Stefanski said. PJ Walker will be the backup. He's been great for us. He started in games and won for us. But it just felt like this was the right thing to do for the team in this particular instance to give Jeff an opportunity to show us what he's capable of as well. Stefanski declined to rattle off the players he'll rest, saying, "You can use your best guess, but I'm not going to go position by position." He noted that the Browns earned the right to rest some of their players on Sunday, like so many other playoff bound teams, including the AFC number one seed, the Baltimore Ravens, are doing. With roster limitations, you can't rest everybody, Stefanski said. Uh, and our full intent is to go down there, play well, and get a win. That's our motivation. That's what we plan on doing. I think it's a great opportunity for some guys that haven't had a chance, hadn't had a ton of playing time to get out there. Throughout this course of the season, we've had a lot of our depth play in these games, but this is another opportunity for some backups and some maybe younger guys to play, and it gives us an opportunity to see them compete. So I am excited about that part. Uh, Injured players such as Amari Cooper, a knee injury, Dustin Hopkins, a hamstring, and Joe Patonio, an oblique knee, will probably get the afternoon off against the 8-8 Bengals, who are eliminated from playoff contention with a loss to the Chiefs last week, which is a 25-17 loss to the Chiefs last week. Veterans such as Myles Garrett will also likely rest up for the playoffs. I would just caution with all of these. A lot of guys have to be ready to play, Stefanski said. And that is absolutely true. They've got to be ready to play. And they really do. Uh, and you can't rest everybody. So I'm not going to go through the roster exactly who's out, but just know you'll have your inactives, and then you'll have a bunch of guys that are dressed and ready to play if necessary. Uh, Flacco noted. Flacco noted that hitting hitting the hitting your stride definitely matters, but each week it it is its own. I don't know if anything really matters besides getting in, and when you get in, and it's kind of and once you get in, excuse me, it kind of starts at that point. He would have hopefully would have happily played had he been called upon, but has been to the playoffs enough times, 7 out of his 11 seasons in Baltimore, to know what's important. So we want Flacco to be getting ready to go for the playoffs, and so do fans. As players, you always want to get out there and play and uh, strap it up. He said, "I'm in my experience, coaches don't usually leave that up to the players. They make the decision and they run with it. So that's the mindset that we have, and just kind of keep it simple like that. The only thing at stake for Flacco is a $75,000 bonus from the Browns for any of the four remaining playoff games. After he signed his one-year contract with worth 2.5 billion on December 14th, but he's not concerned about that in the slightest. Besides, he's got the following coming for victories in each of the following playoff games: 250,000 for the wild card round, 500,000 for a win in the divisional round, 1 million for a win in the AFC Championship game, and 2 million for the Super Bowl if they can win that. Uh, and if they can win that, so and I just want to and no one and no once again there are things that are so far out of my mind, not for me to worry about, he said. Driscoll, 30, was signed to the Browns practice squad on Friday, and he will make his first start since September 27th, 2020, in a 28-10 loss to his Broncos against the Bucks, in which he threw one uh, touchdown and one interception en route to a 771.0 excuse me, power rating. He's the club record fifth quarterback to start a game for the Browns this season. The other four have all won at least one game. Deshaun Watson 5-1, Dorian Thompson-Robinson 1-2, PJ Walker 1-1, and Joe Flacco 4-1. According to NFL research, five other teams have started five quarterbacks in a season, including the strike year of 1987. The Browns joined the 1984 Bears as the only team to start five quarterbacks and make the playoffs. Driscoll was signed off the Cardinals practice squad with Thompson Robinson on injured reserve with a hip injury for at least three more games. Watson on injured reserve for a season with his surgically with a shoulder injury, his surgically repaired fractured shoulder, I should say. He becomes the first quarterback to start a game for each of the two teams in the Battle of Ohio. Having started a 28-16 loss to the Browns on December 23rd, 2018, he went 1-4 that year for the Bengals with the Browns offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt as his quarterback's coach. As for the other Browns players, such as Greg Newsome II, they're eager for a chance to finish 12-5. We're trying to go 1-0 this week, he said. It's a division rival. You know I'll love playing against the Bengals. That's probably my favorite team to go against in the NFL. So far, uh, so far for so for us, excuse me, does it does matter. We are still playing for pride out there, although we clinched already, so this week definitely matters for us too. He hasn't been told if he's playing yet, but hopes to. I'm going to treat it this week like I'm playing, and hopefully I'm out there, he said. Uh, he believes it. He believes it's super important to finish the season strong, and that's absolutely right. I agree with that. Uh, and and I definitely agree with that. Uh, like Coach Jim Schwartz said, no matter who's ever out there, they're setting the standard for us. He said, "I think the preseason you've seen that the starters weren't playing right away, but these guys set the tone of preseason. The defense looks exactly how it looked in preseason right now. So who's ever out there, we're going to keep it that same tone going into the playoffs." Uh, so he stressed the importance of keeping the momentum going into the playoffs. They've won four straight heading into this game tomorrow. We're hot right now, and we've got to continue that, he said. They're always they always say, man, you want to uh, be hot and hot at the right time. And I think we're doing a great job right now, and I can agree with that. And we'll talk about today's two games in just a moment. But right now, it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Which player has the highest single season free throw percentage in team history? And if you said Mark Price, because it's a Cavs trivia question, you are correct. In 1992, in 1992-93, point guard Mark Price made a franchise record 94.8% of his free throws, surpassing his own record of 94.7% from the 91-92 season. And I'll have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. I will. So, and right now we're going to talk about the two NFL games that are going on today. Uh, late this afternoon, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Baltimore Ravens in their final game, which was also Baltimore's final game of the regular season. And it was 17-10 at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. So I'm gonna reveal this. Come on. And and I know Baltimore was resting Lamar Jackson and some of their other starters. Cameron Hayward figures the Pittsburgh Steelers can make some noise in the playoffs. They still need a little help to get in, but they're certainly done their part down the stretch. Let us be dangerous, said Hayward, Pittsburgh Steelers defensive tackle. We have the formula that's working right now. Hopefully, we can get some guys back in the field. We're not going to discount ourselves. We know we've got work to do, and looking forward to it. Mason Rudolph threw a 71-yard touchdown pass to Deontay Johnson on the first play of the fourth quarter, and the Steelers took a step forward toward the postseason with a 17-10 victory over the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday. Rudolph led Pittsburgh, who's now 10-7 on the season, to 3 straight wins to close the season. And now the Steelers wait. They would make the playoffs Sunday if Buffalo loses to Miami or if Jacksonville loses to Tennessee. They also have a chance to clinch a berth if the Houston-Indianapolis game Saturday night ends in a tie. And I'll get to that one. I don't think it's going to end in a tie. Uh, there was some bad news for the Steelers amid all that hope. T.J. Watt, who had 2 sacks to take sole possession of the NFL lead with 19 left in the third quarter, with a knee injury. Coach Mike Tomlin didn't have an update on Watt's status after the game. We'll let you know. Excuse me. And I do apologize for that. The Ravens, who are 13-4, already had the top seed in the AFC locked up, and they held MVP favorite Lamar Jackson out of this game, along with a handful of other key players. Tyler Huntley started at quarterback, and both teams had a hard time moving the ball on a rainy, windy day. We had a chance to send them home. Now they have a chance to go to the playoffs, Baltimore linebacker Patrick Queen said. It stings a little bit, but we have a lot of pages in our book that set us up pretty good. Nobody's hanging their head or anything. If we see these guys again, we'll be ready. With the score tied at 7, Rudolph found Johnson over the middle for one big play Pittsburgh needed. After Baltimore's Gus Edwards lost a fumble, the Steelers kicked a field goal. With 3:13 remaining, the Ravens hadn't trailed by more than 7 points all season until then. Justin Tucker kicked a field goal with 16 seconds left, but Baltimore couldn't come up with the ensuring onside kick. The Ravens had a 6-game winning streak snapped. Rudolph was 18 of 20 for 152 yards. It was probably the most challenging weather I've had to deal with in my career, Rudolph said. Each team lost 2 fumbles. Pittsburgh opened up the scoring on a 6-yard touchdown run by Najee Harris in the first quarter. The Ravens didn't manage a first down until the second, but they eventually tied it on a 27-yard scoring pass from Huntley to Isaiah Likely. The Steelers have won 7 of their last 8 meetings with Baltimore, all of which decided by 7 points or fewer. Pittsburgh's 4 consecutive wins at M&T Bank Stadium are the most by a visiting team uh, since the Steelers themselves won 5 straight uh, from 1998 to 2002. Tomlin said he wasn't sure what his plans were for Sunday as far as uh, tuning in to other games. I hadn't thought about it. He said we were more concerned about the variables that we had control over. Those other ones are less important. We did what we needed to do this weekend. Uh, and Harris rushed for 112 yards to finish the season with 1,035 yards. He's the first player in Steelers history to reach 1,000 yards in each of his first 3 games. In addition to Jackson, receivers Odell Beckham Jr. and Zay Flowers and safety Kyle Hamilton, cornerback Marlon Humphrey, and guard Kevin Zettler were among the big names on the inactive list for the Ravens. Star linebacker Roquan Smith was active but did not play. We didn't really care about who was out there or how long they were going to play, Harris said. We wanted to play so physical that if they did play their guys, we wanted Baltimore coach John Harbaugh to say, we've got to get them out there because of how physical we're playing. Baltimore did have some injuries. Baltimore safety Geno Stone left with a knee injury, and linebacker Delshawn Phillips hurt a shoulder, and defensive lineman Brent Urban was evaluated for a concussion. Well, the Steelers, their postseason fate is in other teams' hands now, and for the Ravens, Baltimore will have the first round bye before hosting a playoff opener. So they will have to await their opponent. So right now, I've got to give the game balls out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got to give them to them. No, don't you dare. Let me. Oh, there we go. Mason Rudolph, 18 of 20 carries and attempts, 152 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Najee Harris, 26 attempts, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. And Deontay Johnson, 4 receptions, 89 yards, 1 touchdown. I took Baltimore and I lost. I haven't got my brother-in-law Eric Close picks yet, but I will. I'll let you know who he takes tomorrow. Whoops, I had a little technical problem there. I'm about to tell you about the other one right now. And I'm going to tell you who it is. It's and it just ended moments ago. The Houston Texans beat the Indianapolis Colts 23-19. That means it's on if Miami loses to Buffalo or if Jacksonville loses to Tennessee for the Steelers. So right now I am 1-1 on my picks right now. And because I won in that one, I took Houston. So boy, this was a game where and Indianapolis really needed a win, and boy, and they did need it, and they just could not get it. And the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans are battling a win, and you're in AFC South showdown uh, as a victor tonight, and all the at least AFC. Secure an AFC wildcard spot. This contest started with fireworks as the Colts scored a field goal on their first possession with C.J. Stroud not uh, hit a streaking Nico Collins for a 75-yard score on Houston's first play of the game. Things slowed down for the teams, trading 7 punts and an end to that, and an end to that with an 8-play, 57-yard drive at the end of the first half that was capped by a 1-yard touchdown to Andrew Beck to extend Houston's lead. Uh, then and there's plenty of football left to be played. And and will it be the Colts or Texans that clinch a playoff spot Saturday night? In this? How long in the live blog below can we break it down? And was not a good. And Minshew missed. He was the wide open Goodson for a flat on a 4th and 1, and so right now and it just was not a good night for Indianapolis. Just comes up short. They had a chance but couldn't do it. But I got to give it to C.J. Stroud, Devin Singletary, and Nico Collins. They get the game balls. So that means that uh, I think Houston may have clinched. They may have gotten it, but we don't know yet. The outcome of the Jacksonville Tennessee game tomorrow. And New Orleans plays Atlanta and New Orleans, the Browns in Cincinnati, Detroit, Minnesota, that's in Detroit, Jacksonville is in Tennessee, Tampa Bay and Carolina and Tampa Bay. New England plays the Jets in Foxborough. Seattle plays Arizona in Arizona, Green Bay, legendary Lambeau Field. The Chargers play KC at SoFi. Philadelphia's at MetLife Stadium to take on the Giants. The Raiders are on their home field hosting the Denver Broncos. San Francisco 49ers play the Rams at Santa Clara Stadium. They're hosting them. Dallas is in Washington to take on the Washington Commanders. And Sunday Night Football, Miami hosts Buffalo. So those are the games for tomorrow. And the other big question this week is how far do you think the Browns will go in the playoffs? Let me know I think they're going to go far, but let me know what you think. How you think they're going to go? How far you think they're going to go? You can leave me something on a comment on my YouTube channel here, Scott Sports 101, on my comment page there, or on my website, scottsports101 at gmail.com. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 Saturday NFL football special edition. I'll be back tomorrow with the week 18 Browns NFL Games pregame show. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day and every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.